If you've been reading Void Rivals, you know how important Darak and Selena are to the storyline. So much so that you could say there's been a void in the community and having an accurate representation of them in the collection. But all that's going to change right now. I'm Dad Bob Walker, and on this walk, we're going to take a look at these two amazing figures that are 3D printed, and I think are going to definitely fill that void. Words cannot express how cool it feels to have these in the collection. Now, these are 3D printed statues, and they were 3D printed by the talented Alpha C3, who does such an amazing job. If you're looking to contact him about any 3D prints, I definitely recommend jumping on tfw2005.com. Look at the message board, Alpha C3, message him, very politely inquire about them and see if he's able to print something or he has some coming out, the only human figures, which I might have a review later on for those. Now, a little bit of close up. We're talking, look at the detail. Such amazing detail there. Look at that yellow jacket. You can just see the ripples in there, the detail. I have no idea how he does it. Even down to the legs. You got Handroid there. And at first glance, I would have never guessed they're 3D printed. Such amazing work there. So Darak, and now on to Selena. Look at the detail there. Again, words cannot express how cool it feels to have these in the collection. If you've been reading the comic books, you've noticed that the masks are an important part of I want to say their culture. Um, the masks do come off and they do have a little gem underneath them, but every character, when they're going into battle, they do have armor that includes a helmet, and he definitely had them come alive with that. Definitely going to have these in the collection. I don't know exactly how I'm going to display them. And speaking of displaying, let's pull out some figures to see how they compare. Before we do the comparison, just want to point out that standalone as is with the comic book in the background, I think that's how I may display them and just rotate through the different comic book covers. There's only been one other representation of them that I'm aware of that's been out there, and that was the one that came with the Jetfire reissue, the main line from Hasbro Jetfire reissue, that came with little Selena and Darak figurines that did articulate. However, size-wise, these definitely have a presence. Now, as far as comparison to mainline figures, the Sharkticons do make an appearance in the comic book. If you've been reading them, I'm not trying to give out too many spoilers, but you see them in the Transformer comic book. Megatron had to battle them, and in the current run, the Quintesson Wars, they're showing up. Okay, and then as far as GI Joe, and again, as far as the Energon Universe, GI Joe is part of that line, that universe. They do size up with the GI Joe Classified. I'm actually happy with the size comparison. So they're about a head shorter than a GI Joe Classified, which does make sense to me. That part doesn't bug me too much because they're from a different planet, a different world, so maybe they're just a little bit shorter. So it works for me. Now, as far as the other figures, here we have Optimus Prime with an upgraded arm to give him that Megatron arm from the first run of the Transformers. To me, it doesn't. They don't size too well with the mainline Transformers. However, I think they do size well with Masterpiece, and I'm going to show you that right now. And there we go. I think that this is how they're meant to be displayed with Masterpiece figures. And if you've been reading the comic books, Void Rivals, you know why I selected these three figures. We got the Fans Toys Jetfire, the Fans Toy Springer, and my humble Toys R Us Rodimus, aka Hot Rod. I just need Fans Toys to do a re-release or to give us a 2.0 so I can pick that up. Definitely need a Hot Rod in the collection. So, again, they look amazing with the Masterpiece figures. The figures are a little bit over 6 inches. Selena's a little bit taller because of her helmet, the way it pops up. So a little bit over 6 inches, and I think that's the perfect figure, perfect size. Okay, they come up to the waist. They definitely take up enough visual space, so they work out. Okay, so again, I really feel blessed and amazed to have these in the collection. Big shout out to Alpha C3 for printing these. And again, if you're looking to find him, he's on TFW2005.com on the message board. Find him, message him, ask him very politely how to inquire about these. Yeah, and that's it. I hope you enjoy the review and enjoy the walk. Until next time.